before I start what I intend to speak here, first of all, fantastic to be here. Thank you so much, ICT. Hari, thank you so much for being here. It's a pride always to be on the stage in partnership with ICT. Quick show of hands. I know academicians, everybody are here. How many of you understand good English? If I speak in English, put your hand up. How many of you understand good Kannada? If I speak in Kannada, if you put your hand up. Many of you. How many of you understand good Hindi? Can I speak in Hindi? Some of you. All right. So if I speak in English, all of you will understand. If I speak in Kannada, some of you. If I speak in Hindi, I myself will not understand. So let's try talking in English. And before that, let me talk to you in possibly the oldest known language for mankind. Ellarigu namaskara. And ತುಂಬಾ ಖುಷಿ ಆಯಿತು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ. And today, the 15 minutes or 20 minutes that I have, I'm kind of a leftist. And people say, what Murali, is that your political opinion? I said, no. In a beautiful forum like this, and people have spoken technology, AWS, and everything was going 5,000 feet above my head, I'm going to be talking to you about what's left, right? And that's why I'm a leftist. I'm going to be talking about what's left to be covered from such a fabulous audience. I had great time listening to some great speakers all through the afternoon, and I was lucky enough to come in early to listen to more of them as well. But what I'm talking to you is a belief that I strongly stand for, I strongly believe, and I thought as academicians, first and foremost, I always take a lot of caution when I'm speaking to academicians, more than what I take to students, because you guys, you men and women, are the ones who are creating the next generation. The next generation of leaders, entrepreneurs, social workers, heroes, all of that, in a way, you people in this room are going to create them. So first and foremost, a huge round of applause for each other. We seldom do that. We seldom do that to pat each other to try and figure out that what are you contributing towards. You people in this room are the generation who's creating the next generation. So hats off to each one of you. On that count, it's important to try and attract the audience what I'm going to be talking about. So I'm going to talk about an area which is very close to my heart, which I thought each one of you and passing on to your student generation is very important, right? And I thought I'll try and talk to you about something very close to my heart, which is important in today's next gen era, called personal branding, right? And it's not a slide about what is personal branding and how is, we'll take examples, we'll chit chat about what my opinion is. And if I can leave back with you couple of thoughts and couple of moments about this whole journey, then I believe my 20 minutes was of use to you. But before that, to capture anybody's attention as a speaker, it's important to know whether your audience is awake, asleep, you're awake, asleep, and whichever part of the country I go or wherever I travel, I try and use some techniques to capture the audience attention. For example, if I am in New York, what will I show you to capture your attention? Anybody? Fantastic. All of you know that? Good. More people. If I am in Paris, what will I show you? Fantastic. All of you are awake. If I am in China, what will I show you? Lovely. If I am in Bangalore, my only way to capture your attention is to show you this. No, we've got better things in Bangalore. We've got better things to show you. I'll show you this and capture your attention maybe, right? So, right, we are a unique set of bunch of people in Bangalore. Right? We talk about the Bangalore traffic, but we are proud about this because we opened our arms to get all the traffic from all over the world into Bangalore. And we are, we are very proud of that, right? We are very proud of that. But on that context, we in Bangaloreans have a parody, right? We travel for 2.5 hours in traffic to come to office to create an app that can deliver groceries in 15 minutes. Right? And that's the parody of this beautiful city, and I'm very proud of my city. But on that context, I know most of you have clapped and laughed, so most of you are awake. So we'll talk about personal branding and touch across what are the elements of this that is, and why is this important today as a conversation, right? My first question to all of you, right? And we'll keep interacting this way. How many of you have actually shared this event poster on your WhatsApp status today? Put your hand up. I'm going to Bangalore. How many of you have already clicked photos from this session and sent it on WhatsApp groups to your college and students or to your wife at home? How many of you clicked your photograph today before coming here in suits, etc., and shared it with your wives? Not wives, wife. Or put your hand up. I also did the same. Took a photograph, but I didn't send it to my wife. But I have to send it. Nevertheless, the session is getting recorded. How many of you actually knew about this announcement of ICT Academy Bridge through Facebook and Instagram posts and LinkedIn posts? Put your hand up. How many of you have interacted with a lot of these segments, etc., using digital and social media as a tool? How many of you have got an Instagram account, like Vidya asked before? Put your hand up. How many of you got a LinkedIn account? 90% of you. why are these times changing? I should be a dumb guy to come and ask you saying, why is social media so important and you've got to be in LinkedIn, Instagram, your students are on Instagram, etc. But it's important to create a social identity, right? In today's fast-moving generation, gone are the ages till the 90s and the 2000s where networking used to be very difficult. If I have to reach somebody back in US, back in UK, do a trunk call and wait for hours, send them a telegram, wait for an email in the 2000s generation, etc. Today, in a matter of 5 minutes, I can actually communicate what I'm doing today to the other end of the world and take a response as well. So our challenge is, are we evolving with the time to try and take advantage of that, right? So my first question to all of you before I talk about personal branding is, how many of you think, and put your hand up, how many of you think that you are unique in this hall? Others who don't, you may need to retrospect. You think you're unique, right? So my first, obviously be yourself. Everybody is already taken because each one of us, like our thumbprint, right? You know that no two human beings' thumbprint matches each other. What a great philosophy it is created around, right? That's for another day. But each one of us are unique in some way or the other, right? And we seldom fail to believe that. We always tend to get covered with the fact that we are here to try and earn a salary, pay an EMI, build a house outside the city and die. But seldom we go back and check on the perspectives that, we are unique in what are we here creating for? What is the purpose? Somebody spoke to me just outside during tea and saying, are we creating good engineers? Are we creating good educationers? Or are we creating, said, where is the fact about creating good human beings? Where is the fact about creating next-gen human beings who can actually be change makers in the society? Right? We are in the process of, but then seldom it gets overlooked at the cost of grades, CTC, and campus interviews. Let's keep all of that aside, right? All our students are going to get into campus interviews. All of them are going to get good grades, good packages. But then, is that the only checklist that we're here to achieve? Right? Each one of us are unique. Hence, my first question to you is, what do you think makes you unique? What do you think makes you unique? Hari, what makes you unique? You are here to ring in a change, and you believe you can do that, and you're doing that in your own way. Anybody else who put your hand? What makes you unique, madam? Sit down, sit down. Apart from your nice slippers that you're wearing, what makes you unique? No, she's wearing a good slippers, yeah? No, you believe you can handle anything. You're first and foremost, you're a woman. So you're born to be handling anything and everything. You're superwoman from the... these are not just standard dialogues I say to please women, but this is a fact that we all acknowledged a long time back. And I'm not a believer that men and women are equal. There are like 25 times ahead of us and we have a long way to catch up, and it's time that we realize that. But then you are unique and you're ready to handle any situations. Great. So what makes you think you're unique? Yeah? I'll give you 60 seconds to think why you're unique, and then we'll again have this conversation, right? So what makes you think you're unique? Disciplined and patient. Both of them don't tally with me at all. I'm far from disciplined, and even if I become a doctor, I won't get patience. Fun apart. Sir, what do you think makes you unique? Mind-blowing, right? And I am a big philosopher of getting back moral science into our textbook, right? We just leave it to the society saying society will teach, but gone are the science. We only teach science and moral science is out of the window. Somebody in the back, yes, madam, the lady there in the back, please. Fantastic, your unique way to approach problems and also. Usually the speaker is not heard in the last row. Today the last row participant is heard to the speaker here. That too in the last session of the day, so I feel very proud. Madam, somebody more, sorry sir, the ladies first, second, third, all of them is ladies. Last row, madam. Unique ideas you use to make everyone happy. First and foremost, you try unique ways to make everyone happy, so that itself is fantastic. As a chief fun officer, I want to credit you for that, but standing in the last row and making sure your voice is heard here without a microphone, hats off to you. Thank you. Sir, you are standing up for quite some time, yes. Punctuality and discipline, you know my answer to that. Nothing works for me. So, but then you're unique in that way, which is fantastic. Madam there, what are you unique? Keeping a smile even when a problem comes makes you unique. I think so every woman, I'm sorry for touching a very sensitive aspect, but every woman in those 3 days in a month, keeping a smile and carrying on to work and handling house and all that stuff, is a superwoman. Is a superwoman. So that makes her unique by birth, and there is no correlation in this world that I can find for that. But my question, what makes you unique? You're very shy, that makes you unique. Shall I come stand next to you? No? He's very shy and he's sitting in a table having 5 women in it. You've just broken your shyness, my friend. You've conquered the unconquerable. Fantastic, huh? You should realize I was sitting in the chair before you, but it's okay, huh? Yeah, so jokes apart, that was not a joke, it was a fact. But facts apart, he's a shy person, but he's chosen marketing and sales, which means that you have to be upfront and talking and all that stuff. So you're in the right direction and the right table, I must tell you that. But, conversations are always exciting, and I found 10 different conversations talking about how 10 people are unique, and no two actually matched with each other. I mean, in a great extent, right? Somebody is shy, somebody is standing in the last row and shouting so that I can hear in the first row, so they are vocal about it. Somebody loves to spread a smile, somebody is punctual, somebody is disciplined. Each one of us finds something about ourselves very unique. And it's important that my starting conversation today is to believe that what sets you apart, right? Somebody looked at me and said, "Why are you so different?" I looked back at them and said, "Why are you all the same?" Right? It's very easy to be in the crowd. But what's difficult today is stand out and make a presence felt. And today, in this buoyant age, it's important to try and stand out and create an identity for ourselves. It doesn't mean that you need to be vocal about it every day. It doesn't mean that you need to be on social media, non-social media, but it's important to voice out, right? I've always had a belief, and I'm this weird guy who has a bucket list of things to do, and every year I keep adding one tattoo in my body for the last 2 years. So I've got only 2 tattoos. Great mathematics. This year, obviously before 31st December, my next tattoo had to be here, and since I was suffering from a throat infection, I thought I'll get over it, so I pushed it to Jan 26 before Republic Day, and the tattoo reads exactly this: be a voice, don't be an echo. Right? So what are we doing to try and be a voice? Each one of us have a voice of our own. Voice means a call, a responsibility, something to be unique. And there starts the basic philosophy of personal branding. Personal branding, my friends, is about your ability to be unique and stand out from the crowd to create a difference. It could be in your field, it could be in your area. What you believe could be completely different from the person sitting next to you, but you need to figure out where it all starts, right? And what is personal branding? I mean, it's not about taking inputs from the net that I'm talking to you. It's my opinion that I'm trying to talk to you about. It's a unique combination of your talent and your ability to stand out. Each one of you, if you can go back and find out and take that time out. When did we last introspect to try and take time out and say, I believe this is my forte, right? There are academicians here. There are campus placement executives here. But how unique are you trying to sell your campus, your placement things? How unique are you in your job will determine the way the society looks into you. And even from a personal standpoint, right, each one of you have a unique responsibility to portray who you are, right? As a chief fund officer, I believe I can look at something very, very unique for myself. Like that, when was the last time you invested time to think of what is important for you? If we just get carried away with the normal routine of work, our 9 to 12 kind of jobs, etc., and then carry on. But introspect, personal branding is something that sets you apart from the crowd. It's about also trying to take a conscious effort over a period of time to build something for yourself, right? And my first question, and a very important question here, which I love to ask people is, put your hand up if you have actually gone to Google and typed your name and Googled your name, apart from all the other names that we Google and type, jokes apart. Interesting, right? Have you done that? If not, do it tonight and figure out what the answer is, right? And don't send screenshots to me. Just look at it for yourself and figure out what does Google say when you type your name. I try and do that most of the time because that's the name the world sees. Today Google has got answers to everything, and not better than my wife. She has answers for everything that Google doesn't have also. But that's for all married men. But have you tried to Google your name and find out? And that to me is your social brand mileage. That to me is what you are known to the outside world. And we leave a mark. People know about it usually. People say that there are 3 or 4 most fastest means of communication, right? 3 or 4, right? Telephone, telegram, and telewoman. But then today, beyond all of this, the fastest way to reach out to the world at large is social media, right? It's a powerful tool that we cannot but resist, right? If you're not there, you're just losing out, but it's a conscious effort for you to lose out. Many people are not there in social media, not that they don't have a voice. They're happy in that space. If you're happy, then I'm not even judging you there. No, I'm nobody to judge you. But if you're in it, you might as well be in it in a particular, measurable, meaningful manner. So in that context, many people have voiced their opinion to try and say that, it is important to make business decisions based on social media. It's important to make career decisions based on social media. 12 months, 24 months down the line, campus interviews are going to have a big stake on what he or she is putting up on social media. They are going to do background verifications based on their social profiling, right? And that's fast emerging. We have done that, right? For example, in many of the interviews that I go and take youngsters, they proudly come and show me their social media handle in which they are content creators, they are YouTube page owners, they are entrepreneurs and social change agents who've got X number of followers. If somebody says they've got 5,000 followers, there has to be a social identity. They can't be doing that by putting up a Vijay or an Ajit or a Rajkumar's photo as their DP, right? Not that it is wrong, it's their perspective, but they have an identity of their own that they need not cover up with somebody else's photograph as their display picture. We try and take stock of all of that, and as academicians, you need to understand that creating a social profiling for your students is extremely important. And also it's important for your institution. Are they putting up in stuff that pertain to your institution? Are they being social change agents of your institution, right? Today, sitting in Bangalore, when the Chennai floods were happening, we were able to collate and mobilize relief through EFGH, the NGO that I run, only basis social media. So it's a very powerful tool basis which what you can contribute from different parts of the world. Somebody sitting in Australia can deliver blankets to Thoraipakkam area for slums affected by Thoraipakkam people through Bangalore when the lorry goes in with truckloads of relief, etc., in a matter of 2 hours. Are we using this power of social media for our betterment and the societal betterment? This is just an example. People have said that data says that do you have a social profiling? Find your niche and try and build on that. Hence, I want to deep dive into my more important slide, which is about the ABCD of personal branding. It appeals to you as a person, it appeals to your institution, more so it appeals to your students. If you want to take a message across on how to build a social profiling, then some of these elements will work. It's not a guide. Internet will throw you better things, but I'm here to highlight not the content, but my intent of why this is very important to build a social profiling, right? All of us are on Instagram, LinkedIn. If I have 100,000 followers on social media, I know that I have the power to influence 100,000 people. Like I influence them, for example, when it comes to social relief, working with the Department of Public Relations and Disaster Relief in Karnataka, I use social media to communicate disaster relief and try and get, like for example, the whole area of Whitefield, etc. I convert my entire clubhouse into a warehouse to collect 8 or 9 truckloads of relief that goes to the Chennai floods that has just happened. All of this is possible only because I have a powerful presence on social media, which I decide to divert to use for the society. What are we doing in the process? My ABCD of personal branding, this is my belief and my methodology, what I have created. You can take pieces or you can add a EFGH7, of your own philosophy into this, right? First is to attract, right? You're here to try and, attract and find your niche, find your target audience. It's very important to know, somebody asked somebody saying, where does this road go? So he asked back saying, where do you want to go? He said, I don't mind wherever. So the person replied, if you don't have an idea about where you're going, it doesn't matter where the road leads. And it's important to ask yourself that question, what is the identity you want to create for yourself, right? And then find a niche and an audience that attract themselves to your identity, right? You could be academicians. That need not be the identity you want to create. You could be a great cook interested in cooking, starting a YouTube channel. Maybe that is your niche and you want to find that niche. You could be a great singer and you want to start a YouTube channel proposing and propagating that. Find out what your individual personal niche is. It need not be tied to your organ. My personal niche has got nothing to do with the chief fun officer hat that I wear. It's a completely different niche. It's on education, it's on society, and a lot more meaningful impact I want to create. What is your niche that you want to find? So the A is to attract. We're definitely here to try and attract that niche that we want to find and grab people's attention towards that, right? The second is to brand. And as a marketing guy all my life, in 24 years, I've worked in marketing across the globe. And it's important to, if you've got 10 different packets in front of you, the ones that are branded and advertised before you take a top of the mind recall, and that's basic marketing, right? What are you doing to brand and market yourself? You are a product, you are selling yourself continuously. From the time a child is born and crying for milk, it is marketing its need to get satiated by the mother. Likewise, continuously we tend to market. It could be on our bosses, it could be at home, it could be the society. Neighbor gets a car and we want to get a car. We are continuously marketing in the fight of branding ourselves. But remember, what we failed to do is brand according to the niche that we arrive at, right? I am a chief fun officer. Spreading fun, happiness is my great fun. I can't come on stage and talk about data science. Even if I don't know about data science, that's a second question. But even if given an opportunity, I won't be doing justice and I won't enjoy doing that. But I enjoy talking about things that are close to my heart. So finding a niche and then branding yourself and making efforts to brand yourself. That niche, for example, could be cooking. You love cooking, you start a YouTube channel, you brand yourself according to it and find out what are the elements that will aid you towards cooking, right? How many of you know a dear friend of mine called Irfan from YouTube who does a cooking channel in Tamil Nadu, right? You've heard of him, this little stout guy that we could call him. Mind-blowing story, right? Go back and find how he's done personal branding. Millions of subscribers on YouTube. Irfan's View, the channel's name. Great story to try and know. And these are the small stories that is happening right next door. I don't want to talk about the Diana of the world, etc., who created millions and millions of followers, but it's happening right here and right next door, right? Who are creating big niche for themselves and identifying themselves to the niche that they have created. And social media content creators could be, Madan Gauri, for example, a dear friend who creates some mind-blowing content on social media. His niche on social is completely different from what Irfan creates. These are names that we consume on a daily. You open YouTube and type these two names, you'll know whom I'm talking about if you don't know already. One is talking about cooking and travels the world and travels street by street on cooking. The other talks about everyday affair. Both of the intellect is the same. Both of them have to invest a lot of intellect in producing what they are producing. So it questions us back saying, what is the brand we are creating for ourselves and what is the audience we want to attract? That's A and B of ABCD. The C there is, the three C's that I want to combine this together and propose to you, right? One is obviously continuity. You can't do something for one day and say, I'll become a brand. That's my personal brand. I open an Instagram page and you say, I am on Instagram, I've created a personal brand. No, my friend, it doesn't work that way. Every day, the pace of change, you can't create a telephone number and say, I have a telephone number, I am on social media. No, the pace of change around us requires us, right? Like the jungles of Africa where the lions wake up and the deer wake up, the deer has to run faster than the slowest lion to survive that day. It doesn't matter if you're the lion or the deer, you got to be running every single day. So if you've decided to be running on this and all of us in that beautiful run, you got to be running. And for you to be running, you got to do things continuously. Continuously brand, market, and have a strategy. For me, there is a team of people who work on my social profiling. And for the next 45, 50 days, we know what we intend to put up there when. Right? That's a great strategy to have. Are you ever thought of saying, or is just knee-jerk reaction saying, you go to a place, you click something, and then you put up? Are you doing a build-up about ICT Academy? You're being here from the morning. Are you creating this experience for your students to know so that you create curiosity and say, what is this place? And I want to be there as well. Continuity is a case in question. How many of us are continuously proposing ourselves and creating a brand for us on social profiling? Second, there would be thousands and lakhs of people who might be doing the same thing. How do you stand out? Right? How do you innovate and do creativity around the whole thing? Right? And that's why I take a lot of pride in being called the chief fun officer, because it's the only one in India. So I can't compare myself with everybody. I've created a niche. Just creating that niche is not important. And I can't say that I'm known for my 2 Guinness World Records. You need to be known for something that is going to come up next. And that's why the motto for me and my team is make your next move your best move. Right? You're known for something that is coming up and not something that is already done. So continuity and creativity go hand in hand. To differentiate yourself from the crowd, you need to be seen out, and creativity matters. Question yourself saying, how are you creating the next bunch of students differently? Are you producing batch and batches that was there in 2015, the same 2023 branch is going to be the same? You've got to question back the reality, and that's continuity, creativity. Lastly, connectivity, right? It's about connecting the dots. It's about making a set of things come together to make this happen. And I'm joining connectivity to my last point, and the more important point of social profiling and personal branding. In today's world, and I keep repeating that, and I have no doubts in my mind, and many will agree for this one, your true net worth is actually your network. I repeat, your true net worth is actually your network. The power of connections today can transform the way your life is, right? And I have realized it every single day. And today, if you're in a position like this, you need to try and understand the network. You are whom you're surrounded by, right? And that synergy of people, your network of people, Swami Vivekananda said, tell me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. Tell me whom you're surrounded by, will know whether you are in a position that's going to elevate you or depreciate you. You need to question the environment that you're currently in, right? And be where you're celebrated and not where you're tolerated. That's a very, very important point. So develop your network that actually enables you to propel. And that to me is the D of personal branding. And these are 4 different elements to your personal, professional, or your students' career, right? Your students' life. They're all going to study engineering or commerce. They're going to be great engineers. They're going to appeal for campus interviews, get great jobs, etc. But it also appeals to you saying, what is the brand you're building for yourself? Have you questioned that in your mind? And these 4 points have enabled me to build a personal brand around who I am. If you're getting 100,000 subscribers, it's not about numbers, but we are in an age where we need to believe that the previous generation till the 2000s was a very liked generation. This generation is a generation that is driven by likes. So we need to try and portray that. We need to understand today's expectation and then cater to that social needs to create a personal brand for ourselves. The personal brand will help you create a difference to your world, make a difference to the society, build on your passion, create a unique identity for yourself, which is very important because it gives you a sense of accomplishment. I'm not saying get to 1 million subscribers on Instagram. No, that's just a landmark somebody puts. Who are you to try and put a landmark? Neeraj Chopra said something 2 months back, which is fascinating for me to hear. After getting the gold one more time, somebody asked him saying, so what next? Neeraj, everything is done, so what next are you aiming for? He said, we javelin throwers have an advantage. We don't have a finish line. It's not a race that they're running. There's no finish line. So the extent to which you can go, the sky is the limit, right? And you know, they say that you need to try and reach for the skies to reach the treetop at least. So the ability for you to capitalize, and personal branding is very important today for you to market, sell, and brand a unique identity for yourself. Create that identity, the world around you will become far more bigger, better, and beautiful. On that count, my last slide today is for academicians are here, and I thought it's the best slide to try and end. It could be the only repetition that you can see between somebody who's heard me last time and this time. And I want to do a quick quiz. And if you can all answer these questions, what is this? Louder. Last session, last 3 minutes, you can be a lot more energy. Artificial intelligence? Great. What is this? Fantastic. What is this? You've all heard of it? Put your hand up. Lovely, lovely. And lastly, you've heard of this one also? You put your hand up if you know this? Right. Oh, I have to move. I'm not fantastic. Right? So as academicians, it's very important for me to transform this. You know, as I told you, right? This generation of people are responsible for the next generation of people, right? Entrepreneurs, business people, people in corporates are not responsible. You have a great responsibility to cultivate the next gen leaders for tomorrow. And that is why I thought, you know, I should talk about this slide for a minute and leave you with that. All of us, you know, take great pride in saying about all of these things to our students, but I've realized that it's important to communicate the actual meaning of all of these things. AI is for artificial intelligence will now stand for actual intelligence. We need to try and tell students, we need to tell our society to be actually intelligent, to use their core common sense, than beyond believing in an artificial intelligence and running behind machines. Trust in men, believe in people, invest in people, and trust each other instead of just machines. ML is for machine language. I think so it's important in today's world, and I have no doubt in believing in this, that we need to prioritize our mother language first, right? Learn Hindi, learn Tamil, learn Malayalam, learn Russian, learn French, but prioritize Kannada first, right? If we don't talk about it, it may have no correlation to a lot of technical stuff, but people have said, but it's my duty to communicate, and I take great pride. If we don't communicate that Kannada is important to be taught, who else will do 10 years later, right? And it's a question that we need to question ourselves back, saying, you know, when we go back home and our kids talk in, not our kids, my kids talk in Tamil or Kannada, etc. So there are a lot of parents say, no, you have to talk in English, only then you'll be competitive in school. Please stop saying that. That's just a request, right? If we don't inculcate a practice to hold on to our mother language, hold on to our culture, what will they have to talk about? You know, the days Halloween's entered our apartment complex, the days all of this culture started exiting, right? I'm a firm believer in that, and I will propagate this in the next 1,000 stages I talk. I will continue talking about all of this because it's important we speak, only then the next generation will speak about this. So please propagate that. C and C++, confidence and common sense. Confidence is something that each one of us have to install in the next generation. People take it for granted. Either they are overconfident or underconfident, but to be confident to try and portray, and sports is a great example for that. And common sense, right? Today we just, something that is available in plenty, but people don't buy it, is actually common sense. So it's very uncommon these days. So please do educate the masses. Lastly, you know, life could be a race, but it's actually a beautiful race, because I genuinely believe if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. The real joy of life is who's accompanying you in this journey and carry along. And for me, J2EE means just to enjoy everything, right? What are we doing to just pause, enjoy the surroundings, enjoy the journey? Life is not about the destination we reach, it's the journey. Most people think that it's the destination finally at 70 years of age, when we reach there, etc., we'll be fully achieved and we'll achieve nirvana. No, it's actually the journey. And, you know, sorry to say this at this forum, but at the end of the life, when we are actually sitting in our living room without a life and the dead body is there, the 200-300 people who come to visit your dead body will actually tell your entire life in one sentence. They will not talk pages about the car you rode or the dress you wore or the position you are or the money you have. They'll say whether you are a nice human being or not and what kind of a society you're left behind. And for which it's important for you to enjoy what is around you today and not concentrate about what's going to happen 30 years down the line. You never know, you and I will get out of this alive. So that moment is very important, and I wanted to leave you all with that moment. My friends, building a beautiful brand is about believing in yourself, is about bettering every single aspect of life, and more importantly, continuously infusing creativity to find your niche. Create a personal brand for yourself because the world around it demands, and work so hard that you don't need to introduce yourself anymore. Thank you so much for this opportunity. It was beautiful to be before you all the time. Thank you.